I want to have a quick conversation with you about how to set boundaries for life coaches. Of course, the advice I'll be giving into this conversation can be applicable to business coaches, all kinds of coaches. Life coaches, business coaches, fitness coaches, or what have you. So, here's the overview I want you to really pay attention to. As a life coach, your ability to implement professional boundaries can actually impact your coaching practice big time, big time. But how do you set boundaries with clients and why are they so crucial? Well, one thing first, you are running a business. As a life coach, as a coach in general, you're thinking of yourself as a solopreneur, right? But you are running a business big time. So if you don't have boundaries, you can't really stabilize your cash inflows and cash outflows. And let me first dig a little deeper. So what are professional boundaries? Let's have a clear idea of what I'm talking about. Professional boundaries are like guardrails that keep your coaching relationships on track. They actually define the limits of what's appropriate and ensure that both you and your clients feel safe, respected, and comfortable. It's all about making sure the relationship is mutually beneficial, right? You want to have this right off the bat. And you want to think of professional boundaries the same way you would think of boundaries in your personal life. The only difference is that you are actually establishing those boundaries with whom, with clients, not with your wife or your husband or even your children for that matter. So, what do professional boundaries look like? Well, boundaries can cover various areas from scheduling and communication to emotional detachment and confidentiality. And confidentiality is really important because it has some legal ramifications. For example, you want to set specific session times and stick to them, limit contact outside of those sessions, and avoid getting too emotionally involved in your clients' personal lives. You have a life too. And don't forget, you have a business to run. So those ethical boundaries with clients are essential for building effective coaching relationships. So by setting clear expectations from the start, what happens here is that you can actually avoid misunderstandings and create a foundation of trust and respect. You got to have that fulcrum of trust and respect, okay? Without that fulcrum, you can't really move forward. And why maintaining boundaries is important? Well, you are able to navigate gray areas very comfortably. And you have to also think that this is a two-way street, right? Boundaries should benefit both you and your clients. That means what? It means considering how your rules and guidelines affect your clients and being willing to adjust them as needed. So by maintaining professional boundaries with clients, what happens here is that you are able to create a safe, supporting environment for them to grow and thrive. And you can build a sustainable coaching practice that allows you to do the same, right? It has to be mutually beneficial. I want to dig now into the strategy. So I want to share with you a few ways to set and maintain professional boundaries with coaching clients. So the first thing you want to do here is that you have to be very, very clear. And we are speaking about being crystal clear. You want to create clear communication guidelines. And the thing is, when you are clear in how you talk and how you communicate, you are actually instilling a layer of transparency in how you actually run your coaching business. So set clear expectations about how and when you will connect with your clients. For instance, you want to specify whether emails or text messages, in-person sessions, phone calls, or online platforms are acceptable forms of contact outside scheduled meetings. And that has to be really clear from the get-go, okay? And if you offer Voxer coaching, make sure to clarify how it will work. For instance, how quickly should clients expect you to respond? Will you be available every day at every hour, or should they expect a response only within certain office hours? That's an important element. Okay. Now, you want to really understand that if you are very clear, you can actually be very clear in terms of how many questions people can expect to ask, the time zone that you are in, and the times that you are available. What happens if you need to reschedule? What are the conditions? What are the consequences? What is the impact? What topics that you cannot cover during a day of Voxer, for instance? How much time is included and more. So by establishing this communication boundaries, both you and your clients can stay on track and make the most out of your coaching relationship. The second thing you want to do here is to actually maintain confidentiality. Very important. So you need to keep the information your clients share strictly confidential unless They provide explicit, and I want to insist, explicit permission to share it. This builds what? It builds trust. It allows clients to breathe. It allows clients to open up and share their deepest concerns without fear. By honoring confidentiality, you demonstrate respect for your client's privacy and foster an environment where they feel safe to explore sensitive topics. Now, of course, I'm not speaking about like a attorney-client relationship, but you want to get closer to that. You have to be as confidential as an attorney or a physician for that matter. Next thing you want to do is you want to set expectations early on. So right off the bat, you want to set expectations so everybody's on the same page. They know what to expect, and nobody comes and trying to play games and ask you questions and trying to act surprised. Okay, so during initial consultations, discuss what your role as a coach entails and what it doesn't. Right, you're not a jack of all trades. You are specializing in a few things, and you want to stick to those things. This could include explaining that you're not there to make decisions for them, but rather to guide them in making their own informed choices. Establishing this understanding from the start empowers your clients to take ownership of their journey and foster also a collaborative coaching relationship. And you got to have that collaborative coaching relationship because this instills a layer of cohesion, a layer of symbiosis, and a layer of osmosis right off the bat. You also want to maintain personal privacy. I mean, you are a coach. Remember, you are a business person. You are running a business, that's for sure. But your coaching practice has to be separated from your personal life. Okay, keep personal information separate from professional interactions unless relevant to the coaching process. Avoid engaging in multiple roles with your clients, such as becoming their close friends, business partner, or romantic interest. I mean, if you have to really keep things simple. It's all about business. Maintaining professional boundaries ensures that your coaching relationship remains the primary focus and that potential conflicts of interest are minimized. Now, I'm not saying that, listen, if you find a client very, very interesting in terms of, like physically interesting, that is, if you're into that client, no problem. I mean, we've seen cases of coaches who actually ended up marrying their clients. That's fine, but this should not be your focus. You are running a coaching practice. You are not running a dating app or a dating practice. Keep that in mind. You also want to schedule regular breaks. So prevent burnout by scheduling regular breaks throughout your day or week to maintain your own well-being as a life coach. Allowing yourself time to recharge your batteries helps you to consistently provide the highest level of support and guidance to your clients. And so that's kind of cool, especially if you're thinking about coaching as a long-term practice. One thing I want to say here is that you need to respect personal boundaries. That's kind of critical, especially if you're thinking about multiple clients from multiple geographies. Remember that maintaining professional boundaries also involves respecting those set by your clients, right? Each client has their own comfort zone, and you should honor his or her boundaries. If they express discomfort about any aspect of the coaching relationship, be sure to address this promptly and professionally. I want to insist on that. Promptly and professionally. Never take some comments personal. It's everything. Everything is business. Okay, and so be mindful of topics or areas that may be sensitive to them, and refrain from prying into personal matters unless they willingly share. If they share, no problem. You just listen and just give your opinion. And you also, and this is a really important throughout the process, you want to maintain objectivity. So as a life coach, it's important to remain neutral and unbiased, avoiding any personal judgments or preconceptions. This helps you actually provide objective guidance and support that is solely focused on your client's needs and aspirations. And that should be the goal of the whole process here. And coaches who remain unbiased can better assist their clients because they remain objective observers instead of injecting their own desires into the client's journey, right? It's all about distancing yourself. It's all about segregating yourself from what kind of story that you are hearing from the clients. Establishing strong professional boundary practices within your coaching practice not only ensures a healthier, balanced lifestyle, but also enhances your capacity to serve others effectively and efficiently. Now, one thing we have seen in our investigation is that you are able to grow revenue rapidly if you are able to set those professional boundaries right off the bat. And you have to do this in a systematic and methodical way. It has to be consistent and it has to be methodical. If you follow those strategies, you should be growing your practice real fast. Now, let me talk to you about the importance of setting boundaries as a life coach. I mean, the whole thing is that, I mean, you're probably thinking, well, why should I set boundaries? I want to be seen as I want to be seen as a very popular coach. I want my clients to love me. I want my clients to really appreciate me, whatever. Now, one thing for sure, you have to really understand. I mean, I want to go back to what I said a little earlier about being a life coach, or being a coach in general, for that matter, is a business. So you are basically, you are spending time, money, resources. That's a lot of energy, and you should be compensated for that energy. So setting professional boundaries is an essential aspect of being a life coach, or just a coach in general. It establishes a healthy and effective coaching dynamic by clearly defining the limits and expectations within the coach-client relationship. Life coaches create a structured framework that fosters trust, promotes growth, and maintains professionalism. So you are able to maintain professionalism. I want to talk a little bit about that. So basically, setting boundaries in the coaching relationship helps to maintain professionalism by establishing clear guidelines and expectations. And so when you have this sort of a clarity, that's kind of cool, because it prevents confusion between personal friendships and business relationships. This professional approach allows for a more effective coaching experience, promoting trust, respect, and ethical conduct throughout the coaching journey. Remember, the whole idea here is for you to add value to your clients by actually being professional, but also instilling a level of clarity, a level of stability in their lives without inserting yourself personally. Also, you want to actually setting boundaries promotes client independence. So establishing limits on communication outside of scheduled sessions empowers your clients to become more self-reliant and independent in their decision-making processes. And you need that. You need that because you're not their nanny. You're not their daycare advisor. No, you are their coach. And that segregation of platforms, or that those boundaries, encourage your client's personal growth journey, and they help them develop the confidence and skills they need to navigate challenges on their own, right? You're not their dad, you're not their mom. Think about that and remember that. Let's talk about other reasons why you want to set boundaries. Basically, setting boundaries safeguards personal time, prevents burnout, and promotes mutual respect. And mutual respect is really critical, especially in the long run. Let me break it down for you. So, safeguards personal time, because defining when you are available for client interactions protects your personal time as a life coach. You probably have a family, you have a wife or a husband, you have children. You need to have a life too. You need to strike the right balance between life and work. And so this segregation allows you to be fully present and focused during coaching sessions while also maintaining a healthy work-life balance. It prevents burnout. So setting clear boundaries is like having a personal safety net for life coaches. It provides you with enough time for rest and rejuvenation and activities like exercise and hobbies, right? After all, a well-rested and energized coach is a recipe for success. And we've seen this time and again. And practically speaking, setting boundaries helps prevent burnout by limiting contact outside designated session times, preserving downtime periods necessary for maintaining your own well-being, preventing clients becoming overly reliant on you as a coach, and reducing overall stress levels and increasing your own productivity. So without clear boundaries, what happens here is that it can be very easy to slip into the dangers of scope creep. And also, setting clear boundaries promotes mutual respect. So by setting clear boundaries, you both establish a framework that outlines acceptable behaviors and interactions, And in this framework, each person's boundaries and values are acknowledged and honored, creating, in our view, a safe and respectful environment. This platform fosters open communication, trust, as well as a collaborative partnership where both the coach and the client feel valued and heard. It has to be a mutually beneficial relationship. Remember that each boundary serves its purpose, protecting both parties involved while fostering healthy working relationship based on mutual trust and respect. And you got to have that either in the short run or in the long run. You got to have that going forward. Let me give you a few tips here, a few hacks. What should you do if a client breaches your professional boundaries? Because you will have those clients who always want to try things, want to go the extra mile, so to speak, right? Trying to really razzle dazzle you. And when you ask them questions, they always act like a surprise. Now, setting your boundaries is only part of the equation. You have to enforce it. Okay. What happens if a coaching client breaches your boundaries? Well, first, consider establishing a plan of action before it happens so that you proactively know how to react, right? It's not about being reactive. It's all about being proactive. So let me give you an example of what you can do to reaffirm professional boundaries with a coaching client. You want to choose a medium you are comfortable with. That's the first thing you want to do. You want to communicate your boundaries maybe via email or via text messages or whatever. Emails are a lot better. Why? First, writing is the way that you can express yourself better. Second, it leaves a paper trail, right? And you need that paper trail later on. You might need it. However, you can choose another medium if email doesn't work for you. It's really what really works for you. You can even call, by the way, as well. And you want to define the boundary that was breached. You got to be really clear about that boundary that was breached. Clients cannot do better if they don't know better. So specify what boundary was breached. For example, did they send a payment late when you have a no tolerance policy for that? Do they keep reaching out during your off time? Clearly let them know the boundary, but also clarify which action of theirs broke your boundary. Next, you want to reaffirm your expectations for the future. Now that a boundary has been crossed, how should the client act from now on? So you want to keep it simple. For example, you can say, well, in the future, please note that I will only respond to inquiries within my business hours. Please also keep communications via email and Voxer instead of a phone call, something like that. So it's all about being transparent. It's all about being granular, and ask if they have questions because maybe your client is unclear about your boundaries. Leave your statement open-ended to allow them to clarify things with you, such as if you have questions, if you have any questions about this, please feel free to ask and I'll be happy to clarify. What you want to do is you want to be professional, you want to be courteous, you want to be friendly all along. Remember, you are running a business. Coaching is a full-time business, and some people are making 7 digits out of this. But so you got to really think of it as a business. So it's important to keep things courteous. If a client continuously breaches your boundaries despite this reinforcement, it may be time to part ways. Fire them. Okay, you can fire a client. We actually released a video about how to fire a client while remaining professional. So you might want to go and check out that video to learn more about the hacks that you can implement this year to actually maintain your sanity, really. So maintaining professional boundaries is essential actually for a healthy and effective relationship with your clients. By setting clear expectations, you can prevent ethical dilemmas and prioritize their well-being throughout the coaching journey. Remember to have open conversations about confidentiality, time management, and personal space with your client to foster trust and understanding. Very important. So here's a recap to this conversation. I spoke to you about how to set and keep professional boundaries. I gave you the overview, the strategy, and now the recap. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.